up, everybody? Graffiti here, bringing another episode of Sanji's Microwave. Well, I got a deck tag for you today. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Deck list is down below. I'm wrapping this up. I hope you guys enjoy. What the fuck? Today, Monkey.D.Garp. Your turn. When a leader or one of your characters is given one of your Dawn cards, give up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 7 or less, -1 cost during this turn. So, of course, we're going to be doing a black do best and reduce those costs of characters while progressing our board state while managing theirs. Also, if you hear a weird purring sound in the background, Zuko is below me. He just won't leave me alone. So, that's the background noise there. Some cards just lost the order here. Bear with me 1 second. Apparently, I can't prioritize my stuff. Alright, so moving into it, here we go. 2 of the smokers. This 7k for 5 has no counter side. It also cannot be KO'd by effects. ×1 Dawn. If there is a character with a cost of 0, this character gains double attack. This is simply helps you get through their life quick with a big hit. Also, they can't be killed by their effects. It's a good thing as well. We've seen that in a few of the blockers on their effects. 5-drop Sabo makes it really good. Speaking of other 5-drops here, we have T-Bone for the EV boosters, whatever, the extra booster. This 5k for 5 has a 2k counter side with an on-play effect of KOing one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. That is really great just to help keep the board down with Garp's effect. You kind of just help build up small characters, and then you go and just kind of kill them out as you keep going. That's the whole point of this deck here. Moving into Rob Lucci, 6k for 4, no counter on the side with an on-play effect of you may place 3 cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, and then you KO up another character with a cost of 1 or less. This is a late game card. Getting 3 cards in your graveyard is kind of hard to do early usually, because they don't have anything to do a crackback with. So definitely a late game card I've been seeing, because simply the fact is, like, they don't have a board to swing back and kill your guys with usually. Speaking of which, Rebecca helps the recursion as well from the graveyard. No power, 4 Dawn to cast or play, I guess. 1k counter side. This blocker has an on-play effect of add up to 1 black character card with a cost of 3 to 7 other than Rebecca from your trash to your hand, and then play 1 black character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand rested. So obviously the card you pull from the trash does not have to be the card you put into play. A lot of times putting down one of these cards like Koby here is a really good card to put back into play rested sometimes. So this is a 4k for 3 with a 1k counter side with an on-play effect of you may trash 1 card from your hand. If you do, you KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. Like I said, on-play effect, point removal, you're just managing the board of removal. And with that, we would run the 2-drop version of the namesake. This 3k for 2 has a 2k counter, which is also great. Hand shields. 2 times Dawn, when attacking, KO one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 0 or less, which is not a hard thing to get to with Garp here's ability. With also other benefactors as your red, being like Dawn adders, such as Nami here. This one is the one that adds rested Dawn once per turn to one of your leaders or your characters, but also has a 1k power, 1 Dawn to play, and a 1 on the side. So all around it's pretty good. We've seen it in action with other decks like Trafficker Law, the first go of it and whatnot. Of course, Grandson has to be involved. 3k for 2, it's 1k on the side. 2 Dawn. ×2 Dawn, this character cannot be KO'd in battle by strike attribute characters. Also activate once per turn. Activate main once per turn. You can give this character 2 rested Dawn, which will obviously trigger Garp. We have another one here. What's his name here? Brook, with 3 of them. Also 3 of the Monkey.D. Luffy's there. But 3,000 for 2, 2k counter side, on play effect of giving one your leader or one of your characters 2 rested Dawn. So just the advancement of the board will keep the presence while reducing theirs and allowing another card to do the work of removing it as well. But obviously, our leader only hits cards with a cost of 7 or less. So we have to bring those other ones down. So we have 2 I show right here right now in the deck. 3 could go. I don't. It's iffy for my meta right now. 2 seems fine because I don't really need it too often. But it's a 9,000 for 8 with no counter. ×1 Dawn. Your turn. Give your opponent's characters -3 cost. And then on the on-play effect, if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, you make them trash 2. You get to pick the 2 that go, but you don't get to see their hand, obviously. It doesn't say that. You just, it's pluck 2, they trash them. But it brings anything 10, whatever, or higher into range for Garp. It's pretty well. And also taking cards is pretty good. Also, cool effects as well for the deck here is this Brook. Yo-ho-ho indeed with this dude. I love him so much. 6k for 6, no counter with 2 on-play effects. If you either trash one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less, or you return 3 cards from your opponent's trash to the bottom of their deck in any order. They choose the cards. That's the downside. But the trash effect of the character gets around whatever KO effect they would have, like the Kiki Nyojo, whatever. I don't know. The yellow chick that gives them a life if you're a 3 or less. Yeah. It is pretty solid. So I just love that trash effect. The whole point of this deck really is trying to be having their board not around. They can only attack with their leader. So you have Shuraiya here. 4 of them as well. 4k for 3 with a 1k counter on our side. This blocker has when attacking or on block. Once per turn, this character's base power becomes the same as your opponent's leader's until the start of the next turn. To start your next turn. So obviously if you're going against yellow, black Luffy and he has all those pluses on him, you can eventually match out. The whole point is to have Shuraiya there. They only can swing with their leader and you can just block with Shuraiya, 1k save or whatever out. We do run a few events here. These 2 here, I don't see as utilized as much in my hand, but they do come in handy when they are needed. 2 guard points. It's 3k for 1 with a trigger of giving either a leader or a character additional 1k on their power for the turn. It's pretty solid explanatory. I feel it's more it's a better counter to have than Radical Beam because it's a consistent 3 for 1 than maybe a 2 for 1 on average. So I just play that over Radical Beam. Radical Beam is better. I get the value of it, but for me, I just rather have the security to get it on with it or I'm taking the card. Because a lot of times they do not have a character to be swinging with, so it's not like a big deal. But another spot removal piece here, Meteor Volcano. We got 4 of them. It's a 2 Dawn event with a main KO one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 1 or less. The trigger is really amazing as well, though. You draw 2 and then you trash 1 from your hand, so you just keep kind of revolve into your hand here. And then finally, we have 4 Ice Ages. It's a one drop event that gives -5 cost to a character of your opponent's. And then trigger is you KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. So this helps you bring the other ones down into a range that are higher than 7 with Garp. Also just kills on the trigger. So overall, this is where it's at. I've been thinking about adding a 5-drop Sabos in there, even maybe a Gecko Moria, the 8-drop one. Oh, there's another one. There's a blue one. But anyway, point being, I don't feel they're as needed. Like the Sabo would be cool for the more card manipulation scene, but this is more of an aggression base. You don't really need to worry too much about having blockers how often, because if they can go wide, you already have that issue regardless. But you kind of just deal with their characters at all times with these cards. It's just great. But tell me what you liked about it in the comments down below, and hope you enjoyed it. Later.